My name is Iris Archer, and I am 33 years old. 2 weeks ago, my mother rang my doorbell for the first time in 9 years. She stood on my porch wearing a beige cardigan, holding a small carry-on suitcase and a folded piece of paper. She did not say hello the way a mother should. She did not smile. She simply stood there, like a visitor arriving at a place she once abandoned. The paper in her hand was not an apology. It was a list, handwritten in blue ink, carefully structured, every bullet point precise, every number intentional. At the bottom was a total, $925,000. She did not come to ask how I was. She did not ask about her grandchildren. She said only one thing: we need to talk about the family's future. But what she didn't know was that I'd been keeping my own list for 9 years. Not a list of money, a list of silence. Every returned birthday card, every voicemail ignored, every text my sister sent about me, as if I no longer existed. Every moment I was erased. 29 items, all dated, all documented, all stored in a navy blue binder in the bottom drawer of my desk. She brought a list of what she wanted. I brought a list of what she did. And today, those two lists were finally going to meet. Before I go further, I want you to understand something important. This is not just my story. This is a story about family, silence, pride, and the moment money becomes more important than truth. Let me take you back. Let me take you back to the summer I turned 24, the summer everything broke. I grew up in a small town in Ohio called Millfield, population barely over 2,000. One church, one diner, one barbershop, one road that everyone used and no one ever left unless they were escaping something. My father, Kenneth Archer, worked at the lumber yard for over 30 years. Same shift, same boots, same silence. My mother, Diane Archer, was the kind of woman who controlled everything without ever raising her voice. She ran the house like a schedule. She ran the church like a system. She knew everyone's business before they knew it themselves. And my sister Paige, she was the favorite. Loud, social, confident. The kind of girl who didn't need to try because the world already made room for her. And me? I was the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who did everything right but was never really seen. I studied hard, I got scholarships, I never caused trouble, and still, somehow, I was always the background character in my own family. Love in our house was not equal. It was distributed like a budget, and I was always the item they cut first. When I got a full scholarship to Ohio State, I thought maybe things would change. Maybe distance would make them miss me. My mother packed my suitcase and gave me a card. It said, "Come home soon, you belong here." I kept that card for years, not because it meant love, but because it was the last time love felt possible. Then I met Marcus Ellison. He was nothing like my family. Calm, focused, honest in a way that didn't require performance. We met in a statistics class. He solved equations like they were simple truths. No drama, no ego, just clarity. He listened when I spoke, really listened, not like my family, where listening meant waiting for your turn to speak. We built something slowly. 3 years of quiet understanding before he proposed. No big gesture, no performance, just a question at our kitchen table. "Will you build a life with me?" And I said yes before he finished the sentence. That was the moment everything changed. Because when I told my family, I didn't get congratulations, I got silence. Then a letter arrived, handwritten, my mother's signature at the bottom. It said if I married him, I would no longer be part of the family, that he was not one of us, and if I walked down that path, I would not walk back through their door. I read that letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully, not because I agreed with it, but because something inside me knew I would need proof one day that I didn't imagine it. We got married anyway. A courthouse wedding, 12 people, no aisle, no family, just friends, laughter, and a judge who mispronounced our names. Marcus's mother held my hands like I was already her daughter. That was the day I learned what family could feel like when it wasn't conditional. But when I mailed a wedding photo to my parents, it came back stamped "Return to Sender." That was the moment the silence began. At first, I thought it was temporary, a misunderstanding, a storm that would pass. I called, I left voicemails, I sent cards, birthdays, holidays, every single one came back. Red stamp, return to sender. No explanation, no response, just rejection, packaged neatly and sent back to me like my existence was undeliverable. So I started documenting it, not for revenge, not for anger, but because I needed to stay sane. Because when someone denies your existence long enough, you start questioning your memory. I bought a navy blue binder. I labeled it. I dated it. Every returned card went inside. Every voicemail transcript. Every screenshot. Every piece of silence. I told myself it was just organization, but deep down, I knew it was survival. Meanwhile, life kept moving. Marcus and I built a company from nothing, late nights in a garage, broken equipment, failed prototypes. Then slowly, success, a product that solved a real problem in financial compliance. Companies started signing up, then investors came, then growth, then scale. And somewhere along the way, we had children, twins, Liam and Sophie, perfect in every way that mattered. And still, my family never came. No cards, no calls, no visits, nothing. But I kept filing, year after year, item after item, until silence became a system. By year 7, our company was worth millions. By year 8, we were in national publications, and that's when something changed. Suddenly, people from my hometown started noticing, my sister's friends, old neighbors, church members. My mother, who had not spoken to me in years, suddenly began asking questions about my husband's company, about numbers, about valuation, about money. That's when I realized something terrifying. They hadn't forgotten me. They had just been waiting for me to become valuable. And when the value crossed a certain line, the silence broke. First came indirect messages, then social media surveillance, then rumors, then a group chat I was accidentally added to for 3 days before I was removed. In those 3 days, I saw everything. My sister discussing how to approach me strategically, my mother calculating what she could ask for, a breakdown of numbers, mortgage, medical bills, college funds, retirement support. Not once did they say we miss her. Not once did they say we were wrong. Only numbers. Always numbers. That was when I stopped thinking of it as family and started seeing it as accounting. And then the day came, the IPO, the moment everything turned into real wealth on paper, the moment silence became loud again. My phone rang 5 times that morning, unknown numbers, then one voicemail, my father's voice, old, fragile, saying he was proud of me, saying his mother wanted to talk, saying things he should have said 9 years earlier. But I heard the timing, I heard the pattern. Pride only arrived after profit. That was the rule. 2 days later, my sister texted me. Long message, carefully written, no apology, just an invitation to rebuild family ties, as if nothing had happened, as if 9 years of silence was just a misunderstanding. I didn't reply, because I knew what was coming, and I was right. A week later, my mother arrived at my house, suitcase in hand, list in hand, $925,000 written like a bill. Retirement, mortgage, medical expenses, monthly support, a carefully structured demand disguised as family obligation. She sat at my kitchen table and called it what families do. I listened. I let her finish, and then I stood up. I walked to my office, I opened the bottom drawer, and I brought out the binder. The weight of 9 years of silence landed on that table like evidence in a courtroom. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I opened it, item by item, year by year, every returned card, every ignored call, every erased moment. I read it like a ledger, because that's what it was. Not emotion, not drama, just truth recorded in ink and paper. My mother tried to interrupt. She tried to justify. She tried to turn silence into misunderstanding. But records don't negotiate. They don't bend. They don't forget. And then I showed her the envelope, the one she had returned after opening it, the one with my children's photo inside, the one my father had wanted to keep but was forced to send back. That was the moment something in her broke. not guilt, not fully, something closer to realization that this wasn't about money, this was about time, and time had already made its decision. My husband walked in while I was halfway through the binder. He didn't ask questions, he didn't interrupt, he just stood beside me. That was enough. That was always enough. My mother looked at him and finally understood something she had refused to see for 9 years, that I was not alone, that I had built a life without her, that her absence was not emptiness, it was replacement. And then I said it, calmly, clearly, I will not give you money. Not because I cannot, but because if I do, it will rewrite history. It will turn silence into strategy. It will turn abandonment into misunderstanding, and I will not allow that story to exist. She left without saying goodbye.